This is NBC3 News at 11.
We're following breaking news tonight at 11.
Reported shooting 1313 Midland Ave between West Borden and West Beard Ave. Call reporting possibly 3 people that have been shot, possibly a baby been shot.
That's audio from Broadcastify tonight, bringing us the immediacy of the dangerous situation that unfolded on Midland Avenue. It's breaking news tonight. It's a mass shooting. 6 people at the hospital after being shot at a family gathering on Midland Avenue on Syracuse's south side. Happened at 9 o'clock tonight. Police say at least 6 are in the hospital. They have not yet released names, ages, or conditions of anyone who was one of the victims, but there could be a child involved. This all happened at a large family gathering where family and friends were mourning the loss of an older gentleman in their family, the 1300 block of Midland Avenue. Now here's a map of the area we're talking about. The south side of Syracuse, Midland, between Borden to the north and Beard Ave to the south. It's right next to Kirk Park. Several neighbors around the area frantically called 911 tonight, reporting there were multiple shots fired. Syracuse police, fire crews, AMR ambulances all were on the scene within just minutes. They then requested additional services be brought in as calls came back to dispatch from the scene. Those hurt were taken to Upstate Hospital for treatment, a very short drive away from where this shooting took place. Our NBC3 News crew is at the hospital right now. We're going to go live there in just a moment. But first, we want to get back to our Tommy Sladek. He's been following this story right through our 10 o'clock newscast and is again there tonight. And Tommy, how are things developing as we speak?
Well, Matt, we do have an update here for you at 11 o'clock, and that is that Mayor Ben Walsh and Chief Fowler, we're hearing, are over at the hospital right now. We're anticipating an 11:15 update from them on what's going on tonight. We're going to hopefully get a lot more answers as to what we've been covering here. And we talked to you just within the last half hour, and as we were going live, we saw at least a dozen family members walking out of the White House here on Midland Avenue that the police have been going in and outside of. When we first arrived here on scene around 9:30, very chaotic scene, maybe a dozen paramedic people. We had stretchers in the front yard, and really just kids just looking out the windows, people coming in and outside. So it looks like just within the last half hour that they said, we want everyone outside of the house, we want everyone off the property. And it's looking like this tape here is just police and just emergency personnel at this point.
Well, Tommy, it was just after 9 o'clock when I actually got in touch with members of Mayor Walsh's staff and let them know this was going on. They said they were going to start looking into it. It's good to know that they're on the scene, and Chief Fowler is also gathering that information. We're looking forward to their update. What have people there told you about what type of gathering this may have been?
Well, what we've been hearing from multiple people is that it was a gathering for a loved one that had passed away today. We talked to one woman who it was her grandfather, another it was her uncle. So someone that a lot of people had known here in the community, especially on Midland Avenue. And they said that they had been hanging outside. There were people on the porch, people near the cars. We saw drink cups and maybe some snacks just kind of hanging out on the vehicles that police were taking a lot of pictures of. So it looks like what seemed to have gone down, a lot of it happened outside.
And no arrests have been made. We've learned that from investigators tonight so far. Certainly they're going to be working on that too. Tommy Sladek, thank you. We'll check back in as developments come your way.
They've got 3 victims inside 1313, 1 victim in the front yard, and possibly 3 more in the side yard.
Interior of the house, we have 1 victim with a shot to the head. 2nd victim with a shot to the gut.
Listening to these dispatches, it's hard to believe this could have been the work of just one shooter, but we don't know yet. That was more sound from Broadcastify. The hurt people were transported to Upstate University Hospital. AMR ambulance took them there. Our Mary Keeler is live just outside the emergency room tonight, where there's been heavy security and emotional family members. Mary?
That's right, Matt. I've been here for about an hour and a half now, and if you're just tuning in with us here at 11, it is certainly a tense scene, and without knowing too many details, besides knowing that multiple people of multiple ages have been shot here, just the sheer amount of police presence, whether it's Upstate, Syracuse Police, another security detail here. There are so many outside this emergency room entrance at Upstate, and just as many family members and friends that we've spoken to just in passing while we've been standing out here. Many people not able to speak, many people crying and wondering what's going to happen. We just saw a few moments ago some Syracuse police officers carry some paper bags and some plastic bags full of what looked like belongings and load it into the crime scene investigation van and drive away. And we just spoke with someone also who said this was, as we've been talking about, Matt, a memorial gathering for a family friend of many along that street near Midland Avenue. So many people just wondering how this night that was meant to remember someone perhaps took a very tragic turn. And of course, we'll be waiting here with the latest for you. But again, we've truly never seen presence like this outside of this emergency room.
You know, Mary, I want to add that Upstate Hospital is a level 1 trauma center, and that means they have 24-hour staff coverage for emergencies like this, for gunshots, for stabbings, for car accidents. So they are the most prepared in a large swath of upstate New York to handle something like this, giving these victims the best chance they have to survive this shooting tonight. We'll check it back in, Mary. Oh, one more question, Mary. Did you happen to see Mayor Walsh or Chief Fowler going into the emergency room? Because Tommy said that they were heading to the hospital.
I have not seen them yet. They could have walked in when my back was turned, but I haven't set my own two eyes on that yet. I did see Pastor Jaime from the People's AME Zion Church, who we often look to in these situations for some comfort after violence. I know we've talked to him several times, but he walked in probably about 40 minutes ago, maybe to just offer some calm and some prayer in a time like this, Matt.
Yeah, he certainly is a spiritual leader of many families on Syracuse's south side, Mary. Thank you. We'll check back in as developments warrant tonight. Our breaking team coverage continues now. Stephanie Stanovich joins us live. She's back on Midland Avenue, and Stephanie's been talking to people there who know a little bit more about what was going on when this shooting took place. Stephanie.
Matt, yes, about a little over an hour ago when I first arrived, it was extremely chaotic. People were everywhere. They were running around trying to piece together what just happened. And I want to step aside so I can give you guys a look exactly what we're seeing. You can see right behind me now, there are cops and detectives, police. They're still huddling together. They were just looking through all of the cars lined up here, which you could see. I talked to two family members here tonight that they say that was their family inside. They say that their family was gathering tonight for a vigil of an older gentleman that just passed away. They say they just buried him this morning. So they say they were all gathered here. There's about 20 to 30 people. So these are their cars right now that you're seeing. That's all of their cars that they had parked here for this celebration is what they're calling it. They say they were inside, they were outside when this all happened. So if you guys take a walk with me, we could show you exactly what exactly the two women told me. They said that in this house over here, that's where the men came out of the house. They say these houses right here is where the shooter came out. They don't know where, which house, why, or when. They just said they saw a man come out of these houses right here and start shooting. And the house is right across this way here. Across the street, you could see the house with the light on. That's exactly where they were standing, inside and outside. They say the kids started running upstairs, people started scattering and screaming, crying, and they're not really too sure what exactly just happened tonight.
Stephanie, let me ask you that one more time. You said witnesses saw the shooter come out of that house across the street.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So that house right there is where the family was gathered on this side of me. So if you come right around this side and you look at these few houses right here, that's where the family members say the shooter came out. They don't know. They're not too sure if it came out on the left side or the right, but they say the shooter came out on that side. And that's where he started shooting. That's when he started shooting. They say there's little areas where you can walk behind the houses. And they say they don't know who it was or why. they did this.
Yeah, it is a tight neighborhood in terms of the way the houses are set up. It certainly is a city neighborhood. Stephanie, thank you for that new information. We do appreciate that in your live coverage. We're going to go back to that scene. Should Chief Fowler get there to update us further. As we're looking at this kind of overall perspective of Midland Avenue, you can still see multiple police cars. Obviously, people who are parked on the street, those cars aren't going anywhere tonight. They're there. In many cases, the evidence technicians have been checking them for shell casings and bullet holes, any evidence that could be relevant. We want to add to you, though, at the same time that they were investigating this shooting on Midland Ave, just over about a quarter mile away on Furman Street, there was a second shooting call. When ambulance crews and police got there, they found a teenage girl with a gunshot to her lower back and buttocks area. Her injuries are not believed to be critical. She was transported to Upstate Hospital for treatment. They don't know if that shooting was related to the shooting just down the block on Midland Avenue, closer to Beard and Borden and Kirk Park. So actually 2 shooting scenes tonight. Our primary focus, though, is on the block you're looking at here, where 6 people were shot tonight. We believe there are a range of ages involved. We're waiting to learn who was shot, what their condition is, and how police would like the public to help with any assistance in finding the people responsible. We'll continue to follow this breaking news over the next 25 minutes tonight during this 11 o'clock broadcast, and push out news alerts on our CNY Central mobile app anytime. We'll be back with more. Breaking news live. We want to take you live back to Midland Avenue. Chief Fowler and Mayor Ben Walsh are standing by. They are ready to tell us what they know about this shooting tonight. Let's listen to what the mayor is having to say. And Chief Fowler
is with the victims and their families. I'm going to have Chief go over the details of what we know now, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Just before shortly after 9 p.m., 9:23 to be exact, our officers were dispatched at 1313 Midland Avenue regarding a shot spotter activation. And upon their arrival, we found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. They were treated at the scene by AMR and then later transported to Upstate University Medical Hospital, where they are receiving additional treatment. We have 5 victims total. The ages range from 8 years old to 35 years old, both male and female victims. At this time, we're not going to release any further information about our victims because of family notifications and things of that nature. And that's pretty much all I have to say. There's still a very active and ongoing investigation. As you can see, the Syracuse Police Department is handling the scene. The New York State Police has offered some assistance to us, and they're just starting to arrive to help us to secure the outer perimeter, so that we can make sure that any ounce of evidence that can be recovered and that's going to help us to solve this is recovered, and we're able to bring closure to this at some point.
Have any of the victims died?
No.
Chief, how many units were on scene exactly?
I don't know, but multiple units.
The gender of the 8-year-old?
Female.
Female. And we were hearing that the shots came from across the street, that direction. What do you know about the source of the shots?
I do know about the source of the shots. I do know the general location of the shots. I do know the physical evidence associated with the shots. However, that's not something that I'm in a position to reveal right now.
We heard eyewitness accounts that there were 3 people in black hoodies that approached the home and opened fire. Do we know anything about, are there 3
if that's what you heard, then I guess you have to use your own judgment on that information. We're still in the process of canvassing the entire neighborhood, not just the streets that we're standing on, but well beyond. We're going to cast a wide net to try to gather any information that we can, and it would be real premature of me to present you with that type of information right now. So
that address is listed to Rashad Walker Sr. We know his past, his gang connections. How is that part of your investigation?
Okay, that would be speculative at this point. We're in the beginning stages of this investigation, and there is a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that we have to learn. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
Chief, were all the victims being treated outside? Were they all shot outside the home?
I'm not certain.
What do you know about the event? We heard that there was some sort of a death earlier in the family, and this was a gathering where people were meeting.
That's my understanding as well, yes.
Do you know who died and how he was connected?
I do have some information on that, but let me just say this to you. We're at the beginning stages of this investigation. There is information that I have, but I don't want to stand before you and present some information to you that's inaccurate, okay? That's something that if you're interested in it, we can provide you with it at a later date on a press release when we've made sure that we've corroborated that it is in fact true.
Now, you said the sensor activation was at 1313, that house where the people were is 1315. So was the sensor at 1313, the shot spotter sensor? Just curious.
I think you answered your question. You answered your question with your question.
I appreciate
Sure,
it.
yes.
What do you want the people of Syracuse to know tonight? I'll ask you first, the chief, and then Mayor Walsh. I mean, do you have suspects in custody? Is there any?
No, we don't have any suspects in custody. And what I want the people of the city of Syracuse to know tonight is that, you know, this is a very tragic event. And I told you that we had 5 victims, and one of which is an 8-year-old female, as we have established. And this is something that cannot occur in our community. And I can tell you right now that there are folks out there that knows information about what happened here tonight, and there's a lot of people that are standing out over to my left and right around me that are completely outraged. They're heartbroken over this, and this type of investigation deserves closure. And for those people who have information that may be helpful to us, no matter how small that information is, please contact us. You can use our TIPS app to communicate with us anonymously, or you could call the Criminal Investigation Division, also anonymously, at 315-442-5222. Any information that anyone has, please help us on this.
Is any of the victims in critical condition?
No, not at this time.
Are they expected to survive?
Well, yes, critical would be an indication that death is possible or imminent. So everyone at this point is stable.
Mayor,
however, they still have a ways to go, and that could very well change. Just be aware of that.
Are multiple of the victims children? You said 8 to 35 in age range for the 5 victims.
How many are children?
We talked about the 8-year-old, and that's all I'm going to say in terms of the victims. And as I said in the very beginning, I'm going to be vague intentionally because of family notifications and things of that nature. I can't stand here and give you a lot of information that would be unfair to the families.
Mayor, what do you want the people of Syracuse to know tonight?
Well, just that tonight we're standing here on the 1300 block of Midland Avenue. But make no mistake, this senseless violence impacts the entire community. And it's just that, it's senseless. And I'm angry, the chief is angry, the people around us are angry, and I'm going to make sure that the chief has every resource at our disposal to find those that are responsible for this crime. And again, I implore the public to work with us, to help us, to bring these people to justice. This violence has to stop.
The history at this home with the gang connection, what's your concern about gangs in the city?
We're surrounded by human beings, by neighbors, by family members. They are hurting. That's what I'm concerned about right now.
Chief, we were hearing about a possible other shooting on Midland Avenue. Is that just a few blocks away?
That would be Furman Avenue, and that is indeed just a few blocks away.
Okay, what can you tell us about that one so far?
In that incident, a 14-year-old female was shot, and she's listed in stable condition.
I know the release said that there's no indication that these two are related. Has that changed at all?
We don't know. At this point, we don't know. As I said before, we're in the very beginning stages of this investigation, and our whole purpose of standing before you all right now is because obviously this gets the entire community's attention, and we're just coming before you to give you and the community the basic information that you need in order for you guys to report, in order for the community to have a general understanding of what took place here tonight and on Furman Street.
What made this, we saw multiple units on scene when we first got here. There's still plenty on scene. Because of the amount of people that were in the house, was that something that made things difficult upon your first arrival?
No, what made things difficult is the fact that we had multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds in the city of Syracuse. That in and of itself, it makes things difficult for us.
Neighbors have indicated how chaotic it was when officers had to rush in and kind of figure out what was going on, figuring out who was hurt, figuring out who might be a suspect, even though they may no longer have been there. What can you speak to about those initial moments when officers first get to a scene and see that many people hurt on the front lawn?
It's challenging. You know, our first responsibility is for safety, to make sure that no one else gets injured, that first aid is rendered to those who are injured. And day after day, our officers, those young men and women, go flying into the face of danger without batting an eye, without pressing pause. They go right after it, and tonight was no different. So this is what they do.
Your officer slammed me down the stairs and I'm pregnant and I ain't do nothing.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. All right.
That is Chief Frank Fowler, Mayor Ben Walsh, both taking time to talk with the media, address the public. The mayor saying simply he's angry. This senseless violence must stop. He promises all the resources that the chief and the department need to find the shooter or likely shooters in this multiple shooting tonight. We have now confirmed with the chief it was 5 people shot. And what is particularly horrifying is one of them is an 8-year-old little girl. His only good news is that none of those who are shot are in critical condition. They are expected to survive, but they're being cared for at Upstate Hospital tonight. We'll continue to cover this live. Right now, we want to go a quick check on the weather with Chief Meteorologist Wayne Mahar, then we'll get back to the coverage from the south side. Wayne?
All right, then, Matt, let's get right to it then. Lots going on, of course. Here's what's going on weather-wise. It is a quiet night weather-wise anyway. Live, tripled off the radar, brought to you by Falso Service Experts, and everything is quiet right now, but we got a couple of weather fronts headed our way. One is a warm front that's bringing a couple of showers north country tonight. That'll bring us into some warmer midsummer type of air, heat, and humidity for tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, a cold front comes in. That's what I'm concerned with most, is this cold front that's going to work its way on in with probably a line of strong to maybe even a few locally severe storms tomorrow night. Best chance of that probably between 8 and 11, 8 and midnight, somewhere around there. So bus stop weather for tomorrow morning, clouds, some sun, just the chance of a shower, mostly dry, 67. Partly sunny at noon, 77, and then drop off in the afternoon. Slight chance of a thunderstorm, and the high temperature 82 with a bit of a breeze. Here's a futurecast for you again. Overnight tonight, couple of showers north country, a sign of the warm front, the warmer air starting to work on in. Then we stop the map, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Not much going on there, but by the time we get to 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, here's that line of what looks to be strong, maybe even a few locally severe storms. That would be the cold front starting to work its way on through, and then it's going to put us into a noticeably cooler weekend, a fallish weekend. So your weekend weather, here's what we're looking at. Saturday, partly sunny, breezy, cooler, less humid, 64. And Sunday, chilly start. Temperature in the 40s, and then 67 for an afternoon high temperature on Sunday. Look outside, Stanley Law Sky Watch overlooking the city with the Stanley Law camera. Skies are partly to mostly cloudy. That's the latest from the weather outside.
I have no FB.
Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate that. We want to head back to Tommy.
I have another one.
Tommy's having problems being able to hear us right now. You can still see Mayor Ben Walsh chatting with reporters there on Midland Avenue, outside the location between 1313 Midland and also 1317. We have learned from our reporters on the scene, including Stephanie Stanovich, that some witnesses say they saw some men coming out from behind one of the houses across the street, rushing across the street, and then shooting into a crowd of people gathered. The most upsetting element for the whole shooting scene tonight is an 8-year-old girl is among the victims that had to be rushed to the hospital. Chief Fowler did not want to release the ages of the other victims. He said they range in age from 8 to 35. He did not rule out the idea that there could be another younger person involved in this shooting tonight. Tommy Sladek is ready to go for us now. And Tommy, you were there as the chief and the mayor were talking. They certainly had appropriately stern expressions there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I can I can't count the amount of times that that we've been talking to Chief Fowler and talking to Ben Walsh about how much they want to get rid of the violence in the city. They don't want it. They're sick of it, and that's really kind of what they were talking about tonight. And you know, even when I went to ask Chief Fowler about about his officers, the first thing that came to his mind is he said we were worried about the 5 people that were hit, and that was something they were focusing on. And something that's kind of gone under the radar is the 6th person that we were referring to earlier was not outside this home here on Beard and Midland. That was at Foreman and Midland. That was a 14-year-old girl that was shot. She's also in stable condition. Again, the victim's between the ages of 8 and 35. He wouldn't go into details about the exact ages of the people. He mentioned the 8-year-old girl. Wouldn't mention if anyone else of the people that were hit were kids. But good news is that he called them all in stable condition. None of them life-threatening tonight.
Tommy, thank you. We appreciate that. As we continue our live coverage here, we want to fill you in on a couple other elements, but we're going to talk to our Stephanie Stanovich, who's also live on the scene. And Stephanie, part of the questioning involved who may have done this, and one of the reporters asked about a man named Rashad Walker. Well, I've been looking up the background on Rashad Walker. He's a familiar name. He's actually serving time in Attica right now for murder, but his address, last known address, was in this block of Midland Avenue, 1317, and his history goes back even further, that his own young son was shot and killed by another gang going back a number of years ago. So the potential for some sort of gang involvement seems to have risen to a high level, although I know Chief Fowler didn't want to address that tonight. What was your impression as you listened to the Chief and the Mayor?
Matt, yes, Chief Fowler didn't want to comment on that right now, and if you could hear in the presser that we were just at, you have neighbors and friends and family kind of standing around, and they said, no, that's not it. So like we don't know right now, like Chief Fowler said, it's too early to tell what it was. He said it's still an ongoing investigation, but Mayor Walsh and Chief Fowler said they're angry that this is happening. They're angry that so many people are injured right now. Like we've mentioned before, there are 5 victims at the hospital right now. They range from 8 years old to 35. The 8-year-old is a female. They said they're all in stable condition right now, and Chief Fowler said there are no suspects, so they're trying to just piece together exactly what happened here. I spoke with 2 of the family members, though, before the presser happened, and they told me that they saw the suspect come out of nowhere. They saw one person, but there's rumors that there may have been 3, there may have been more than that, they're not too sure, but the family members said that they saw one person come out from across the house, across the street, and start shooting, and they said they don't know what exactly is going on, but it's definitely still an ongoing investigation. There's a lot of questions that the family and friends surrounding here have tonight.
Stephanie, I want to add a couple of things while we still have you that the Chief said. First of all, Shot Spotter is the technology they've been using on the streets to detect shootings in Syracuse over the last year, and that was their first alert that they needed to get to this scene. That's interesting. It wasn't just the calls coming in. And secondly, the New York State Police are coming to help secure the wider perimeter, as he said. As you can see, still an active scene, an extensive investigation. Thank you, Stephanie. We want to head over to Mary Keeler. She's been at Upstate Hospital throughout the night tonight and has more information now on what's happening there in terms of the security. And Mary, I guess we got some good news in the scheme of things from Chief Fowler that there are no shooting victims who are critical tonight. However, that's good news only keeping in mind that there are 5 shooting victims and one of them is an 8-year-old little girl.
Yeah, Matt, that perhaps is the most chilling part of this, but as the scene remains very active where more of our team members are right now, take a look at this emergency room entrance here at Upstate. We're just across the street on the sidewalk, but it has been a constant flow of people in and out today, and obviously there are people in uniform. I believe that they're Upstate security, and they have been here making sure people don't run in and just answering questions. Obviously, a lot of people frantic about what's happening to their loved ones in there. Of course, you mentioned we did get good news, no critical condition in there, but still an awful thing to hear that 5 people were shot, including such a young girl. But we've been standing out here as people have been hanging on every detail that I'm sure that they're getting from going up close to those doors, but still a very very telling image here with all of the police presence and just the amount of people here. Like I've been saying all night, you know, it's a hard sight to look at because I've never truly seen presence like this before outside of an emergency room. Matt?
Mary, thank you. And again, Chief Fowler and Mayor Walsh trying to reassure the public that they're doing everything they can to secure this area, to make sure this community is safe, and ultimately put an end to this type of violence in the streets of Syracuse. Although tonight, they have plenty of work to do on their hands just investigating what happened. It also is a redeeming element when Chief Fowler gets a little bit angry or testy at a news conference like this, because he does not want to tell us everything he knows. He doesn't want to let the bad guys know that the chief and the investigators have some sense of what may have happened here tonight. He doesn't want to get ahead of information. Instead, he wants to let us know the facts as he has them. And those facts tonight are 5 people shot on Midland Avenue, ranging in age from 8 months or 8 years to 35 years old. None of those victims are critical. There was a second shooting scene, a 14-year-old girl shot. She also is not critical tonight. This is a live picture of where the shooting took place outside a family function. People had been gathered there to mourn the loss of one of their loved ones, an older gentleman. We appreciate you sticking with us throughout the night tonight. I'm Matt Mulcahy. That's NBC 3 News at 11. Have a great night. We'll see you later on.